To another car one video. This is an in-depth tour of a 2008 Nissan R35 GTR. In this video I'll give you a full walk around the car. I'll show you the exterior, the interior, a couple of interesting features of the car, and so on. Let's get straight into it. Towards the front, you've got visor and headlights, as you can see. You can see they're also slightly blacked out as well, which is quite nice. And that's only on the earlier GTRs. I think it was after 2010 they moved towards a they went towards more of a silver sort of finish, which I personally like. This actually finish, looks a little bit more better. So you can see you've got a little bit of some nice chrome towards inside the headlight bulb there, and you can see it's kind of glossy over around here as well. So you got two functional hood vents, which is something that you don't see anymore. A lot of cars have these fake vents now, but on the GTR at the time they're all functional, which is actually quite nice. So you can see you got the front end. This is being the earlier one, so it doesn't have the LED daytime lights on the side, which came only about 2010, and it has a bit more of a rounder grille opposed to the squared off grille that you got on the 2010 models. You can see the GTR emblem there. It's pretty nice. Looks pretty. Let's switch it to a wide angle lens so you can have a look. Sorry, it's squeaking in my shoes. So we'll just go around and show you. I think we'll go the other way, you've got a bit more room. So I'll just show you the wheels of the car, which actually look pretty cool. These are the earlier wheels on the 2008 ones, so they're a bit more thicker. Whereas I think it was in 2000 and I think it was 2010. Yeah, 2010 is when they went towards a more skinnier alloy. But I personally like it. I didn't think it did that to shed weight. But these were the earlier wheels, and I personally like them a lot better. So you can see you've got pretty large discs over here. And you can see the wheels are in a, you can get in two colors. I think at the time earlier you can get them in a nice sort of it's kind of, I don't know how to say, it's like it came in this sort of style finish. That's the, I don't know what kind of finish that is. It came in that style, and then later it became, I think it was a 2008. It went towards a more of a dark grey finish over there. So just a wide angle lens you can see. So in terms of the tires, you've got Bridgestone Potenza R070R tires. In case you want, Bridgestone Potenzas. And in terms of tire size, they are a 20-inch tire, and these are made in Japan, in case you're wondering. So they're pretty nice tire. So in terms of the tires, they're actually filled with believe it or not, nitrogen. They're not filled with oxygen or standard like air, and the reason for that is because nitrogen is apparently more of a more stable compound, so it doesn't actually lose pressure as quickly, which is something that's really important. So it can maintain tire pressure a lot easier. So when you are servicing these vehicles, you cannot just put standard air. You need to have nitrogen that can only be filled into this tire. Another thing you may notice is in the tire, you can see it's got this sort of like specialized ridge in each individual ones, and they're designed like that to prevent the tires from slipping off, because this thing could corner so hard. In fact, it can corner so hard that the headlights here, if you can see, they actually don't have, some cars actually had the swivel lights. This car doesn't have that, and the reason for it is because it corners so quickly that the motors couldn't keep up, so they had to actually not have, they had to get rid of they couldn't have them. So quite interesting. Yeah. See, it's actually quite a more of aggressive sort of design car, and the design of the GTR, he actually said that the gender of the car, I know it sounds very silly, but cars are considered to be girls, but this was actually considered to be a he. And the reason why it's considered a masculine car, because it's supposed to have a design of something sharp edged like a samurai sword, which I thought was quite interesting. And also it's also angular in such a way because it's trying to design to channel all the air towards that little spoiler there, which is actually functional to keep the downforce in the car. So that's pretty cool. So you can see how sharp the lines on the GTR all the way here. It looks really cool. I love the emblem you got here. Looks pretty cool. You can see it looks really nice here, and you can see you got some of this sort of grey style finish there. Even the side view mirrors are actually kind of sculpted in a way to reduce drag and stuff like that. Really nice. One thing that kind of bothers me a lot of cars is now a lot of cars like Teslas, they keep talking about like, oh, the Tesla's got these really cool door handles, and you know the Model 3 has it, but you know Nissan already had them. Look, I mean, this came out in 2007, and the funniest part is no cars really got them. I don't know why. And it was only because of Tesla. All these cars later came with these flush door handles, which help improve aerodynamics as well. So they just started a huge trend, but I never understood why they never got. Sorry, the background noise. They got people trying to sell a car. So it's just like this car already had it, so it's so ahead of its time. So it's kind of impressive. So you can see it's really cool. Like even the size of the body looks really incredible over here. And we'll just go towards the rear of the car so you can get a better look. I'll just switch to the wide angle lens. See, I've got a bit more room. So here's the rear of the GTR. So it's a really nice looking car. It's funny because this car looks more expensive than it looks. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of interesting. So I always was really fascinated about this car. So you can see towards the rear, the bottom, you can see you've got four exhaust pipes, and they're all functional. So you can see they're all functional over here. You can see you've got this grey soft style finish here. Really nice looking rear, and then really sharp as well. You also see you've got the traditional 4 lights to signify to kind of got that Skyline heritage, and they ditched the Skyline name. I think Skyline, they dropped that name and went with just GTR for the R35. You can see you got full LED lights, which later were replaced with LED rings later. I think also from 2010 onwards. So you can see that there you got the spoiler, third braking light, all the way here. Now the key's kind of hilarious. You're gonna laugh. So the key fob for the GTR. Oh, where'd it go? I had it in my pocket. Where'd it go? It's just tangled somewhere. Oh, there you go. Let me just. I'll put this here. I think I'll just put my car keys here. So the actual keys for the GTR is actually kind of funny. So this is the original key, and you may look familiar because it's the same key that they put with the X-Trails and the same keys they put even on the Suzukis. And all they've done is just stuck on a GTR emblem. So pretty standard looking key, nothing really that special. The boot's kind of a little bit bigger, but it's a lot bigger than I expected. But the funniest part is the way it opens. It's open. There you go. Is the way it opens, because it looks quite big, but a lot of the body kind of chews up a lot of the way it opens kind of chews up a lot of the size. So the opening isn't that big, if you can see. So you got a small opening, but inside you do have quite a fair bit of storage. You don't have any space for a spare tire or any of that. I think that's just the shed weight. And I don't think these seats fold down. I think they're fixed like that. So you're kind of stuck with that. But yeah, you can actually fit some golf clubs or something in there, which I thought was kind of nice. So it's not that bad. And I think it's quite nice. It's got some nice carpeting here. No hooks or anything. So whatever you put in here, it's going to slide around. Well, actually, you do. So you got some mini ones here, another one here, and yeah, it's actually kind of nice. If you do get locked in the boot, you're kind of stuffed, as you can see, because there's no actual hooks inside the emergency releases. They're not there, but yeah, but overall, pretty decent size boot space. You can actually put some golf clubs and maybe 2 suitcases in here. I guess that's good. So yeah, let me just. Ooh, that was a bit loud. Can you see GTR logo? And yeah, to open the doors, you just push in here. Opens like that, and you can see also got frameless windows, so that kind of comes down just to not damage the rubbers in here on the door sills. So here's the interior of the 2008 Nissan GT-R. With the seats, actually, before I go into it, it's actually fitted with one of the best seats ever. And instead of having all the individual buttons, they've all mounted everything to one button. So if you want to go forward, you pull it forward. If you want to go back, pull it forward. You just push it forward, back, or up and down whenever you like. All integrated into one small button. And I just find that really smart. I just don't know why any other manufacturer doesn't do this. It just makes your life easier, all into one button, having all these other buttons that you have to fiddle around with, which you don't really know. You got a little bit of silly placement to put the heated seats. I wish they put them over there, but it's not really much of a big deal. And you can see you got the scuff plate on the side, and you can see someone actually didn't remove the thing. You're supposed to remove these when you get the car, so it looks like it's been here since 07. But that's what it would have looked like untouched. But yeah, you get the idea. But you can see you got the emblem there, which is quite nice, and all that. I think someone actually stuck this on because this doesn't look like that's supposed to be there. But yeah, actually pretty nice inside. So let's just have a jump inside and see the inside of the GTR. So here's the inside of the GT-R. The visibility is actually really good. In fact, it's probably better than a lot of cars today. You got really good forward visibility there on the sides here, and surprisingly the corners here too. Because actually, you know, if when you're going in the corner, yes, this kind of blocks your vision, but you can actually see quite easily around you in junctions. It's not like that really matters. I mean, you're going to be taking this to a track, and yeah, you got really good visibility in the back there, and a little bit of blind spot there, but it's actually pretty good. So quite impressed for 2007. So here's the interior of the GT-R. So I'm just going to turn on the car. I'm not going to be starting it because I'm not allowed to, and show you the gauge cluster. So mechanical dials, as you can see. Now the fun fact about this car is the top speed of this car is actually limited to 180 kilometers per hour. It's going to talk about the E-tag right now. So the thing is, it's actually limited to 180 kilometers per hour, and it does that because it knows it doesn't want people to be speeding in it. But if you go to a racetrack, the car knows it's on a racetrack, and you'll unlock it because it's got a GPS. It'll unlock itself to its proper top speed, which is actually quite interesting. Now, being the older gauge cluster, it looks a little bit different than the slightly new ones. I think from 2010, they moved this from being a red LCD to like a white color like this, which looks a bit more nicer. So I'm just trying to adjust the brightness. Press this button here, we'll see what else we got. All the stuff's in Japanese because this has actually been imported from Japan. So you can see you got your, it's gonna keep doing that. So your range, how much you're using, not like that matters. So all that sort of information and so on. So what you got, time, all that and stuff like that. And you can see what gear you're in. You can see you've got your fuel gauge, your temperature gauge for an engine, rev counter, and you got your speedometer, which is actually pretty cool. There you go. So you can see like the let's turn this off back here. So you can see you got your steering wheel, which is actually quite nice. You can see it's actually nicely perforated too, all the way here and here. And it's a little bit got a flat bottom sort of style here. And it's still round, but I think cars later had this flat bottom style steering. This doesn't have it. It just has it around the sides here. And you can see you've got all this perforation here, and you can see you've got some stitching here as well. You can see you got power shifters, which are actually mounted onto the steering column, which I thought was interesting, because I actually thought it'll be better with the steering wheel, so you can change gears in the corners. But apparently it's actually better this way instead of actually mounting it. So because it's when you're changing gears, which I didn't actually know that, so I thought it was better onto the actual steering wheel. But got these big power shifters here, and then you can see you've got they look like they recycled some switch gears from Neo, the switch gear from Renault. And you can see you got wiper controls to the left and your headlight indicator controls to the right. It's also pretty neat, all pretty nice. And you can see you got your what do you have here? Got your volume controls here, seek through stations, hands-free telephone. This is all your cruise controls, that stuff like that, and yeah, pretty interesting. And you can see you got this nice GT-R logo embossed over here. Got some soft touch materials here and here, and even the dash as well. The dash is in not bad condition. You can probably spot it out already. You got a little bit of a crack here, and that's the thing when you import cars from Japan, for example, here, because they're not supposed to be designed for the road conditions. That's why they have models that are specified, designed for for the country that they're gonna be staying in. Because they did sell the GT-Rs new, I think they did sell them in Australia. You could buy them from the dealership. So those were designed for Australian roads, so they would change the material slightly. So there's a bit of a crack there, which they're going to replace anyway. That's what they said they're going to do. So you got some stitching here, all the way in there, and you can see you got some of that soft touch material here and padded here. Even though the switches feel pretty well screwed together and everything, but it's all about the numbers and the performance. So here you've got your media screen, which actually has TV, FM, disc, you can put music and stuff like that, and navigation. And another thing which I'll show you in just a moment. So I'm just gonna turn this back on. Comes with GT-R. And okay, so you got a Bose sound system. So I'll just see if we can have a listen to it. Oh, that's the wrong button. It's actually pretty clear. So you can see if I can seek through another station. I'm just doing that too. It's not like that. It's not really tuned because it's still in its. I think this was imported from Japan, so All the radios again, the radio stations might be all funny. Let's see through. It's doing its thing. Yeah, so you got, it's a pretty clear stereo, as you can see. So you can see the audio is pretty good, but I'll just go and see what else we've got. You can see through station TV aux. You can plug in like your iPod or something like that at the time. TV, so you can, which doesn't work for Australia, I don't think. And you can see through all your stations and stuff like that. Another cool thing, you can see you got all these other sort of buttons here, which are all in Japanese, so I don't really know what they do. And one thing, if I press this, see that says Polyphony Digital. Now the reason why is because the person who Polyphony Digital are the same people who developed the Gran Turismo game. So this is for all the crazy stuff. So you can see you got your boost stuff, you boost pressure, you got your oil temperature, oil engine pressure. If I press this one here, you've got water temperature, engine oil temperature presets. You can transmission oil temperature, the pressure for the transmission, and you can see how much torque, where it's going rear wheel drive or full oil drive. You can see where the torque is going, which is pretty cool. You can see you got boost, water temperature, and again the same thing there. And then these are, I think, different set. You can preset ones to display what stuff you want on there. This one is the acceleration. Sorry, my tongue got twisted. Acceleration G-force. So how much G-force you generate when you're accelerating. You can see the boost and how much percentage of acceleration, which I think was pretty cool. If I press this one here, you got the braking G-force, how much G-force you generate when you're braking, which is pretty cool, and the amount percentage of braking you can do. That, see that there. Cornering G-force, that means obviously when you go in the corners, how much G-force you're generating. You can actually see how much how hard you're cornering, which is pretty cool. If I go back there, you can see the steering, the speed. You can see, this is the engine map. Don't know what that does. Gear positioning and eco level, and let's see, the logger if you want to time yourself and stuff like that. And yeah, this is just something else as well. So pretty cool stuff you can do all here. That's why it kind of looks very familiar, because it's the same one from Gran Turismo. That's why they worked together to build this interface, which I thought was cool. Let's see if it has any additional stuff here. No, that's about it really. So yeah, you can see you got your air conditioning controls. The buttons feel not bad. They feel kind of cheap, but that wasn't the main focus of this car. This is all about speed. So you got your aircon speeds over here, and Nissans have really good AC, so looks like it appears to be, I believe, a single zone or no, dual zone air conditioner, so you can change your temperature. You can see up there, it looks like it appears to be the highest temperature 32 degrees, and the lowest appears to be, come on, 18 degrees. So pretty cold you can go to, and then you can press that for auto, and they both will be the same. Both can be the same temperature, and you can adjust them, which is pretty cool. So you can see you got other various settings here. You can adjust your suspension settings, your transmission settings and stuff like that to snow. It's got comfort mode. The GTR, this 08 GTR has a comfort mode. You can adjust the suspension to a comfort mode to be a bit more softer. Which this car kind of has pretty hard suspension anyway, so it doesn't really improve that much. And this one's for your traction control, which doesn't exactly turn off. So you can turn it off, but I think it does have a default mode where it turns itself back on. So if things go really sideways, so you almost have full control, but not quite. And in case you're wondering what this R button means, this means it means full race mode. So it's perfect with the track and stuff like that. So with this one being a transmission, you can quicken the gear ratios and stuff like that. So you can see powered by Bose, DVD. So you can play videos and stuff you want to at the time. And yeah, you can see Bose sound system over here, and you can see you got your gearbox here. So this one is a 6-speed dual clutch transmission. So probably one of the very early cars that had it. I think at the time a lot of cars that did have a dual clutch transmission was like, I think Porsche at that time. So what that means is you can actually pre-select the gears and before it goes into them, and actually allows it to be much more faster, the gear changes, giving you faster lap times and stuff. So you can see you've got all that there, and you can switch to manual mode here, and you can just change the gears yourself from here or from the pedal shifters here, which is also quite neat. You can see you got some storage here as well, also nice, you can fit there. And then you got some bit of storage here. You can actually fit a little bottle there, but it's not really ideal. This car isn't about the storage. If you want storage, get another car. That's what you should. Got also handbrakes and go drifting in it. Be hard to drift in the 4-wheel drive though. But yeah. So you can see you got a little bit of some storage here to put a wallet or maybe a phone or something like that. You can see it's nicely padded as well. Even the seats are pretty nice as well. You can see here you got these holes over here as well, and you can slide the seat forward and back because you got some additional rear seats there. You can see you got some nice perforated seats over here, which is nice and soft, and you can see it's got some nice bolstering here, and they're very supportive, and to me they're quite comfortable. So I mean, I guess when we're driving it, long distance journeys will be the real test, but yeah, it's pretty nice looking seat. You've got obviously sunglass holder, got a little visor over here as well. It's actually quite nice. You can see you've got some visor here as well, so pretty neat. And I think I just want to try out, just for the fun of it, just to see how good the rear seats are. You can see the door handles open, pretty interesting here. And I'll just switch to the wide angle so you can see the seats. So I don't think he had a good look at that. And I'll just switch to the wide angle lens just to have a look at these rear seats. To make it quite curious, because I don't think anyone has ever tested. I don't think the rear legroom will be any good, but this is just me just goofing around. So let's see how good the rear seats are. So this is the rear seats of the Nissan GT-R. If that's how much legroom you've got, you're not going to get any room in here, I can guarantee that. So I'm going to put this... Oh, hang on. Well, that's not that bad, actually. I mean, I thought it'd be worse than that, but okay, so this is not the most realistic. I'm 5'5", and I think for a short distance journey, you might be just right. But keep in mind, I do have a bit more room than over here, but yeah, you could do this. I mean, you could do this. The seat, I mean, my head is literally like against the glass here, so I don't have a headrest, but my head, I'm quite small enough, my head's literally touching, but I could just fit in here. But yeah, you do have a seatbelt, so you can't. They're somewhat usable. They're still quite nice and plush. That's the front seats. I guess that's good. And you do have a cup holder here, which can fit that if you tried. And that's it's a bit of a hard armrest, and a bit of a weird one, but yeah, you could, I guess, somewhat fit in here. Now I'll just show you the dashboard from the rear seat of the GT-R. Oh, sorry, I just hit the camera on my phone. I'll just pull this up here. But yeah, you could fit in here. Again, I'm 5'5". Anyone shorter than me be fine. But short distance journeys, I think that's doable. I think you would struggle for a long distance journey. Now we'll look at the engine. Now the engine, now this is a 2008 GT-R, so they actually got faster and faster over time. In fact, each engine for the GT-R is only designed to work for one particular transmission. So that means you cannot put one GT-R and marry it with another transmission. It will never work. I think that's pretty interesting. And the funny fact about the GT-R is they were all hand built, and because of the fact they're hand built, it meant that each GT-R didn't exactly make the same amount of power. I mean, some GT-Rs were technically more powerful than... Oops, sorry. So it meant that each GT-R could be more powerful than the one next to it. So the one you see here it's a twin turbo V6 with a 3.8 liter engine, and it made for the time about 358 kilowatts, which I think was about 460 horsepower. I don't know the horsepower numbers. I'll give them in the description below, which actually increased over time with each update. So for 2007, 2009, it made 358, and then I think it bumped out to about 362 kilowatts. And then it went into somewhere about the 400 kilowatts around about 2010, 2012. And it just got faster and faster, each version of GT-R. I think the current GT-R makes about 500 kilowatts now. So it's pretty fast. Like over 500, so pretty crazy. So this is the engine bay of the GT-R. So yeah, twin turbo. So you can see you got 2 air boxes here. Pretty insane. And yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a tight window to actually work on that. So it's actually Nissan calls this a premium midship engine, and these were all hand built. So I don't see it here, but normally they have a little badge here that tells you who made it, but this GT doesn't look like it has it, so I don't know why. So you can see all everything in here. It'll be a little bit hard. This sort of is not corrosion, well it is kind of, but it's just kind of just because the conditions. It happens when you're importing cars from overseas, so you can see kind of that can always be cleaned up and yeah, stuff like that. It hasn't been cleaned, so but pretty cool stuff. Alright. Ooh, close this was wanted. So that's my little walk around of the 2008 Nissan GT-R. Hope you enjoyed this video, and sorry for the background noises, just bad timing. Just had customers who came to look at the car, so obviously that was a little bit of a nuisance. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to like and subscribe. This car is available at Jace. I'm auto import. I'll leave the details in the description below. Hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.